now. Okay, thank you. I call the meeting to order today. It's the extraordinary meeting, Buller District Council, 15th of July at the Clock Tower Chambers. And today we're discussing the Karamea Reserve Subcommittee application to RCF. So welcome back everybody around the table and to anybody who's online watching, again staff, and today we've got Alan from the news with us too, and of course Mr. Oldham at the end of the table. So welcome everybody. Okay, so call the meeting to order at 2:01 p.m. and I'll ask for apologies. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 here. Councillor Webb, Councillor O'Keefe, Councillor Rutherford, Councillor Higston, and Francois Tumai. Any other apologies? I think that accounts for everybody. Yep. Somebody like to move that? Councillor Reynolds, Secretary, Deputy Mayor. All those in favour? Those against? Thank you. That's passed. Item agenda 2.1, members' interests. The members disclose any financial or non-financial interest in any of the agenda items. Does anybody have anything to declare? Councillor Sampson.
I am the council representative on that subcommittee that we're talking about, but I understand it doesn't lead to an interest.
Okay, thank you. Take that as read. Okay, anything else? Okay, I'll move that members' interest with Rosalie declaring be accepted. Councillor Reynolds seconded. All those in favour? Those against? Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the main agenda item. Agenda item 3.1, Karamea Reserve Subcommittee application to the RCF, and the recommendation is that council fund the balance of the campground facility upgrades at the Karamea domain from the reserves contribution fund. So I'll take it that everybody's read the paper and turn it over to Brent if he'd like to say anything by way of introduction, and then we'll ask for questions. Brent.
Thank you, councillors, for taking the time to meet for this extraordinary meeting and to consider this matter. We are here basically to support the subcommittee complete what has been a considerable amount of work, and just put forward the paper as read, and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Brent. Deputy Mayor.
I've just got a question around the process for this, because we've just been through an annual plan process. This looks like it's been in the planning for quite a wee while, and it should have been submitted to our annual plan processes coming out of reserves funds. I don't remember you bringing it up, Rosalie, at the annual plan processing time, which to me was, if it was missing from that, it should have been brought up then. I think that in our policy we say that we prefer things to go through for reserve contributions through the annual plan process, but there are circumstances where it can come through that process outside of annual plan time. I guess just looking at this, it looks like it's been on the radar for a long time, and I'm just wondering why it wouldn't go through annual plan process.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, this is honestly a slip-in process. I can't explain it any more than that. That policy is relatively new. Perhaps it could have been communicated wider and a little bit more thoroughly. We had Councillor Sampson and I had discussed it briefly a month or two ago, and going forward, absolutely, these things should be part of that consultation. The property team is committed to going to meet with every subcommittee going forward. We've already had some meetings, and this particular application came out of a reserves management plan consultation meeting that we had about 2 weeks ago in Karamea, where it came to light. So we've progressed this as fast as we could. However, you're correct, the process needs some rigor around it, and we'll be working very hard to make sure that this doesn't occur again.
I think just to add to that, the policy recommends the annual plan process, but it doesn't require it, and it doesn't specifically talk about any specific exemptions that apply or not. So this is broadly within that policy.
I understand that, Anthony, but if it's part of a long-term project, which it was, there is no reason why this shouldn't have gone through in the plan process.
Okay, thank you. I think Chrissy, did you want to add something, and then we'll go?
Yeah,
to
just want to acknowledge there'll be some frustrations through this process from around the table and also through our subcommittees that, as I mentioned through the last workshop, they're volunteers, they're putting in a lot of time and mahi into their local communities for the love of it. So I do want to acknowledge that there have been some frustrations through here. We've been working with our subcommittees for some years on improving the processes that we've had in place. The Reserve Contribution Fund application and the policy that's recently been approved has been one of those things. The formal meetings that we'll be having with our subcommittees throughout the year, which comes with governance support, property team going as well as our subcommittee liaison. The idea from that is to sit down and really understand from our subcommittees what it is that they're planning, so we can help them with this. And as we've just mentioned through that procurement workshop, so we can really assist them with the procurement, the capital works, and making sure that we're making it as easy as possible for them. So we're taking away the bureaucracy, I guess, and letting them get on with the good things that they're doing. So all of this work is to say that we haven't nailed it yet. We're still working towards that. And I do sincerely apologise for the frustration that this has caused. This is one of the ones that has slightly slipped through the process that as we're setting it up, but we have got systems and processes in place to ensure it doesn't happen. The only thing that should be coming like this moving forward would be any urgent works or anything that comes up. So using the new policy, and once we get that embedded, but I did just want to acknowledge that there are subcommittees behind this, and we do understand their frustrations, and we are working together across the different departments to be able to go to the meetings together and make sure that there's one source of truth.
Thanks, Chrissy. Rosalie.
Yes, I just want to make it quite clear, the subcommittee did not go ahead without the belief they had the money already approved, and it was only picked up a fortnight ago, but the emails of correspondence backwards and forwards from staff acknowledged that the funding was there and it had been approved. And then the bombshell was dropped that the funding wasn't there. So
Thanks, Rosalie.
from the subcommittee, according to the handbook and whatever, it has ticked every box. If you wanted to go there, it has gone through the process completely to the extent that we were told that we had the funding, and then a bombshell stopped work.
Thanks.
Comment, this is not a fault of the subcommittee.
Okay, thanks, Anthony. Councillor Hawes.
Yep. And again, I think that, I'll just reiterate again, that's why we need these processes absolutely clear, cut and dry, so that across all the district, everybody knows what's what they need to meet, what the requirements are, and basically have a template that allows them to operate without having to run the risk of this kind of thing happening. I have no problem with the fact that it needs to be addressed. I fully support that, and I just wanted to say, if you look at the value that these campgrounds add to the Buller district, you really need to appreciate. If you go back to last weekend, and we've discussed this earlier on in a prior meeting, in Reefton's case, where the Reefton Campground Domain hosted the Reefton Car Show, it was the most people I've ever seen in Reefton in my 49 years there. It was absolutely packed. It was like walking into Hanmer on a Saturday. It was incredible. And I think that's the value that these community assets can add and should add. And I think that, you know, so I don't have a problem with that, but I do, and I don't really have a problem with the fact that in the past, you know, we haven't operated differently. I do think going forward, I really would like to see all of these things have a basic template that we just apply across the district. Helps everybody.
So can I just ask Dave a question, because Dave, you're in a new role that was established with this council to oversee all of these subcommittees from the point of view of bringing them into alignment. Can you comment sort of how that has gone and how you're feeling about that?
I'm feeling really happy about the way things are moving forward, with Deputy Mayor Shane's and Tony's, who's not here today, the two people within the community committee, the chair and deputy chair. We've moved a long way into getting these things into a format that will de-risk ratepayers going forward, basically, so across the district. So I'm happy. I think that you know, it's a fairly big piece of work, and we don't want to impact on the you know, the good work that volunteers do. We want to actually be able to support them to do better, you know, to actually achieve more for their communities.
And generally, how the subcommittees feeling about all of this?
The ones that I've had contact with seem to be positively getting along with it. We haven't had all those meetings yet, so there's a number who haven't had a meeting. I went up to the Wakanui, their last meeting, been to two at the Reefton Reserve. So yeah, I think we're getting there. We need to just keep doing the good work.
Great, excellent. Deputy Mayor.
I've just got a question around the motion itself. One, I just want to check, Rosie, because it just says fund the balance of the campground facility upgrade, but in there you've got a quote for 76,000. So that was obtained in June 2026. So I would feel more comfortable in having an amount in the motion that's put forward, because that quote should still be valid. It's only from June.
Yeah, that's quite valid, and I was going to bring up the same thing, that we approved that amount of money for it. And at this stage, the fact that it's partway through, it's likely to be under. So if we say up to, and if we're, you know, the 1,500 that we expect to be under, we won't go to that amount.
So on that grounds, Chris, I'd like to move the motion, but with the amendment that we fund the campground facility upgrade at the Karamea domain from the reserve contribution funds of up to, somewhere it is 76,000. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the. Did you get that, Caitlin? So I'd like to move that with that amendment.
Okay, I'm happy to second that. I think everybody would be happy to second it by the look of it. Okay, so is there any further discussion on that? No, thanks very much, Brent, Anthony, Chrissy sorry. Councillor Sampson, did you have another question?
I was just going to say, lessons be learnt from this, okay, and that the subcommittee did do everything correctly.
That's great. Onwards and upwards. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Sorry. Look how keen. Look, I'm that happy we got it done. Okay. Well, Alan's listening. All those on. Okay, repeat the motion. Yes, please.
So that council fund the balance of campground facility upgrades at the Karamea domain from the reserve contribution fund up to $76,885.48.
And the Mayor would just like to say before we take the vote, that must have been the smoothest meeting we've ever had. Okay.
Actually, is that, because we don't, is that GST inclusive? Oh.
Okay, so are we ready?
Do we need to say that in the resolution, Brent? Does that need to, there's no GST, so the resolution should be exclusive of GST? Right.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favour? Those against? Thank you, that's passed. Thank you very much, everybody. Great day. Okay, so we'll declare the meeting closed at 14:15. 2:15 p.m. Thank you everybody online for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Black, white.
We'll get them in all.